Is this on? Good morning. Welcome to my world. This is Carpo's just woken up, so don't mind me. When I first wake up, it's hard to gather my thoughts, collect myself, and I don't even wait till I look decent. I just come out and make a video. When I wake up, I actually think, oh, I'm not going to be in the mood to do a video, and within a half hour, here I am. But Carpo 719, I just wanted to talk about that name for a minute because I've been thinking about Carpo 719, the name that I chose for my channel, and I started thinking about all the other channels that I've met, which have turned into maybe a larger channel or somebody who basically gets stuck with a particular name, I guess. And you can change your YouTube name, I think, a couple times. I'm not sure if they do it anymore. They tried to get me to change it to my actual name, which I was like, you know, I have my regular account, but this is a sub-account under my account that I don't use. But I'm like, there's already a name on one account. I mean, anyway. Point being that as the computer world changes, as the internet changes, people want more and more of real names and information, which is probably a good thing in the end, not for privacy issues, but for the confusion of having multiple accounts, multiple emails, all these different things under different passwords, different codes and everything. I mean, I never thought I'd actually have to write down my passcodes, you know, to various things, but if I don't, I'll forget them. So when I started Carpo 420, it's funny because I chose the name Carpo as a kid when I was like 15. We were playing this dice game called Zonk. And part of the rules of this game are you're supposed to choose the first name that comes to mind, the first word that comes to mind, and that's your name for Zonk. So forever I was Carpo. I don't know why I chose it. I just said Carpo, and that was it. From then on, I was Carpo in the game of Zonk. And I use it now and again as a nickname. And I use Carpo online to set myself apart from other Joshes. You know, because I always thought when I was younger it's cheesy to have a nickname, but then I thought, you know, having a nickname, when somebody says so-and-so or so-and-so, you know, Bob or Frank, or even if they use a last name, you tend to get them mixed up. But whenever somebody mentions one of the friends I grew up with that had one of those names, you know, I remember it. So my point here is that when I went to sign up for YouTube years ago, it was 2008, I think, they wouldn't let me use Carpo because it was already taken. Of course, every name's taken. And since then, I'm sure every other name's been taken. But I said, well, I'll use my usual handle from the game, Carpo 420, which is the name that I used for the game, obviously 420 cannabis. Carpo 420 was taken also. And this is like 8 years ago, and I'm thinking, what the hell, you know, there's another Carpo 420 out there? And sure, you know, out of a billion people using the internet, there's bound to be one person who chose Carpo and Carpo 420 who smoked pot too. So in a haste to just finish my channel, I made it Carpo 719. 719 being my old address when I was a kid, where my dad died. The house that we lived in, it was like this little house we stayed in for a few years. I don't know why I picked it. It was just like 719 is a number I'd remember. And I needed a 3-digit number that I wouldn't forget, you know. So there it is. And I wasn't going to do Carpo 666 or something stupid like that, you know, but it got me to thinking about all the other people out there who may have created, say, a website or, you know, some domain name for a particular thing and had to think of it really quickly, and then end up enduring and having to live with that name for years and years because of brand recognition. Now, I don't care so much about my channel, obviously. I'm talking about the guys who have built companies and businesses upon a name, you know, and they want to change their name. In fact, the perfect example here, this is something I thought of yesterday, I'm glad I remembered it, was bands that have completely dissolved and all the original band members are gone, but they keep the name because of the brand recognition. There may be just the singer and all the rest of the band is different, or it may even be the same band, they get a new singer, but sometimes it's a whole new band that has basically just carried on the name, And one might think, hey, if you're going to change your band members, you should change your name. But really, if you were in that band and you had worked so hard to build that name, would you change the band name? I mean, if you knew that you would sell records by using your original name, it's easier to say that, oh no, I would just change it, but it's not. But with bands and companies, you hear some really funny company names and stuff, people who didn't really think that they were actually going to take off with their product or whatnot. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just an interesting thing to me. It's the quickness with which. Let me give you the perfect example of how this came for my carpentry company. I was out there with my buddy, and I got my contractor's license, and I was getting ready to go get insured. We were going to work as a partnership, and I did all my tests, got all my license and everything, and then I had to go to Kinko's to use the internet to sign up for my name for my company, and to get my ABN, which is your alternate business identity, your business name. And when I got there and tried to use it, I think it was something, I can't even remember the original name we had chosen, but we'd thought about it for a while and said Above the Rest, I think it was, or I think it was, I don't even remember, it was above something. And when I got there, the name had been taken, and I was paying for the internet by the minute. So, Kinko's is a total ripoff. So I'm like, great, I gotta think of a freaking business name that might endure for the rest of my life within like 2 minutes, So I chose Above the Level. And I was like, I'll just have to use Above the Level. And Above the Level is also, because I had a Freemason come up to me in this like home show we were doing where I had my booth trying to sell, services. This guy's like, hey, are you a Freemason? I'm like, no. It's like, well, you chose that name Above the Level, and that's one of our terms. It's like, no. So we got in this big conversation. The guy was like 2 booths down. It turned out that he knew my grandpa. He went to the same Freemason lodge as my grandfather. He actually had my grandfather's Freemasonry book that had been passed down to him from my grandfather. It was a really weird coincidence. Was that name chosen by me just subconsciously knowing I would run into this person? Probably not, but it was a weird thing. But anyway, Above the Level ended up being a pretty good name because I could draw a picture of a construction level and put Above the Level, and that was my company name. I got lucky on that one, but it just reminded me that sometimes we try to think up a name really quick, like a quick password or a quick, this is good enough, and you end up wanting to do something with your channel and you're forever known as Carpo 719, for example. It's cool with me, I don't care. I mean, I'm not trying to sell anything, so it doesn't really matter. And I like the name Carpo, but if I had gotten stuck with something else, like Booby Smacker 257 or something. I've seen the funniest screen names on some very serious channels. Cracks me up. It really does. Booby Smacker. How about Hot Retarded Chicks? Are you watching this one? He's got a pretty interesting name. The first few months he commented, I thought he was a girl because he had a girl's like icon and the Hot Retarded Chicks for the name, and I didn't really think much of it. And I think that that's how we can get confused by people's identities by using certain terms, and people see my name, and some people probably think he's probably into fish. Maybe he likes to fish for carp. I don't know. So, anyway, in our future dealings, we're a little more cautious, hopefully. As the internet progresses, we've learned to be more wary of, keeping consistent names and passwords and ideas with all this shit that we have to keep up on. And for some people, it's overwhelming, the whole internet thing. Like when I tried to get my mom into trying to show her how to use Windows and everything. She's got Windows 8. I don't even know how to use that. I'm still a computer kind of ancient. I use XP. But she was getting frustrated because she kept forgetting passwords and stuff. And I was like, that's the whole thing, you got to write all these things down because it's it's easy to remember a few, but if you're using the same password and everything for everything, then you can get, your accounts taken or whatnot, and the internet world, there's no privacy left. So Carpo 719 signing off from the fish capital of the world.